Baja California Peninsula, Chicxulub Crater, Tenochtitlan, and Chichen Itza. These places all have one thing in common. They are all located in the country of Mexico. Another thing these things have in common is they will all be discussed in today's video. The first thing I will discuss in this video is the Chicxulub Crater because it has the longest history of the four things I will discuss. It's located on the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. Currently, it is buried beneath 2,000 feet of sedimentary rock and water in the Gulf of Mexico. It has an area of 10,000 square kilometers. It is 93 miles or 150 kilometers wide and a whopping 12 miles or 20 kilometers deep. This is the crater left by the meteor that supposedly killed the last of the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. The crater was first speculated in 1978 when employees from the oil company Petróleos Mexicanos, or Pemex, were looking for places to drill when an underwater arc with extraordinary symmetry was found. These two employees, Penfield and Camargo, got a gravity map of Mexico from 1960 and the arc showed there too. During the 80s, there were a lot of people who proved the arc was a prehistoric cataclysmic event and not just a coincidence. Some of these people included Nobel Prize-winning scientist Luis Walter Alvarez and his son Walter, and a University of Arizona graduate Alan R. Hildebrand and his faculty advisor William V. Boynton. Penfield and Hildebrand got together in 1990 to compare samples, which both showed shock metamorphic materials, which are rocks with effects of a shock wave from a major impact in history. By that point, the theory that the crater had killed the dinosaurs was widely accepted. The next location I will be discussing is Chichen Itza because it was created second of these four locations chronologically. Chichen Itza was built in the year 600. It's debated whether it was built by the Mayans, Aztecs, or Toltecs because their architecture is very similar. However, it is most widely accepted that it is the Mayan temple of Kukulkan, which is very similar to the Aztec Quetzalcoatl, which is why this is most accepted to be Mayan architecture. In 2007, Chichen Itza was declared one of the new 7 wonders of the world, mostly due to its proximity to Cancun, Mexico, a major tourist destination. Chichen Itza was first discovered by the Europeans in 1526 by a Spanish conquistador, Francisco de Montejo. Many of his forces died, but he established a small fort at what is today Cancun. Later, he sent his son of the same name to conquer the interior of the Yucatan Peninsula. His son discovered Chichen Itza and gave most of the city's land to his soldiers. He also renamed the city to Ciudad Real. The Mayan people became more and more hostile over time and eventually declared siege. Most of his men died while he hid in the city waiting for reinforcements from his father. But the Mayans had blocked his supply line, so he eventually was forced to abandon Chichen Itza, and by 1535, both him, his father, and all of their men have been evicted from the Yucatan Peninsula. After its excavation in the 1920s, the city was established as an UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1988. The third and most complex location I will discuss is Tenochtitlan. The historic site of Tenochtitlan is in Mexico City. Tenochtitlan was built by the Aztecs in 1325, and it was built on an island in Lake Texcoco. It was the capital of the Aztec Empire for almost 100 years. Tenochtitlan was the largest city in all of North and South America throughout all of history before the Europeans arrived. Because of this, they had the largest and most complex social system in all of the Americas ever, and it looked kind of like this. In this mini-segment, I will break down the entire social system of Tenochtitlan. Note, groups not in the original system but were adopted in later are listed in red. The first tier of this social system are the Tenochtitlan, the leaders and the most powerful people on the island. They always lived in the most luxurious conditions. The next tier to their social system in Tenochtitlan is the first nobleman or Quahipiltin. They're like generals of the army, and they had the most military control of any of the classes in this social system. The third tier of their social system in Tenochtitlan is the Pipitin, or the second nobleman. These generally respond to the first nobleman or are backups for the first nobleman. The fourth tier in this social system is the Kapoyi, which are large families bound by kinships and generally respected by the leaders and the noblemen. The Kapoyi are also the highest ranked average citizens of Tenochtitlan. The other special group in this social system is the Paktika, which are traveling merchants who travel all around Central America trading goods. They are more powerful than common families in Tenochtitlan. Most citizens ranked in this sixth tier of all of the 7 tiers, which is the Maswaltin, which are the common citizens of Tenochtitlan. They generally owned farms around and outside of the island of Tenochtitlan. The 7th and final tier of the Tenochtitlan social system is the Tlacotin, or the slaves. A small side note, the other groups didn't treat the slaves badly like most European rulers would. The slaves just never received any reward for the work that they were doing. Tenochtitlan was the capital of the Aztec Empire until 1521, when Hernan Cortez came in and destroyed the city and executed the leader of the Aztecs. The final location I will discuss is the Baja California Peninsula in northern Mexico. This final location is the one oddball location I will be discussing because it is a geographic formation, not something made by man or outside forces. The reason I will be discussing the Baja California Peninsula is because the Spanish had an interesting theory behind it that deserves to be shared. The theory that Spain had was that California was an island, not a peninsula. So in this segment, I will be discussing what if California was an island, all of California, not just the Baja, and what that would mean for the United States and Mexico. Small note, Alternate History Hub did a video on this whole thing already. It's a full video, not just a small segment. Go watch it. There are 4 ways as to how California and the Baja Peninsula would be divided geopolitically. First, California might become its own country with its own economy, etc. Or California could completely go to the United States, including the Baja. Same way for Mexico. It could go completely to Mexico, including present-day United States California. Or California could be divided kind of the way it is today, part of it going to the United States and part of it going to Mexico. No matter how the territory is divided up, however, California's geography would be some of the most unforgiving geography in the entire North American continent. This unforgiving geography would be 13,000-foot cliffs between present-day California and Nevada, which would make it impossible for almost any migration to occur between the two. Long story short, no matter which country gets the territory, California would be the least populated state in both the US and Mexico just because of its geography. Anyways, that's Mexico. Leave a like if you learned something, and I'll see you all in a week.